Alright guys, so we just got back from playing the First Berserker, Khazan, and this is a game that at first was not very impressive to me. Quite frankly, I'm entirely fed up with Souls-like games. Like, I literally could not finish the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I was totally fed up with that, and I was just done. I was like, I don't want to play Souls-likes. I don't like them, don't enjoy them anymore. The games that broke me, Liza P, just some of those bosses, it was more of masochism simulator than it was of actually playing a video game that was fun to play. And then we had Lords of the Fallen, which absolutely broke me. I was done after that. Like, the bosses pissed me off. I was not having it. I did not care very quickly after playing that game. So, and Shadow of the Erdtree was just not fun. So it's like a lot of these Souls-like games, you know, I don't enjoy their boss design anymore. I don't enjoy how bloated they feel. These games are feeling more and more unfair. These games are feeling more and more bloated in their game design, right? It's like a lot of empty space. It's just getting so gruesome and tiresome. It's like, you know, man, my time's being wasted. And I've played enough of these Souls-likes to know that my time's being wasted, and I've had it. So when I picked up this game, the demo, and I played through the first 2 hours about of the game, I really just did not care about the game, and it's just because I'm so tired of Souls-like games. However, this game, now here's the thing I'm going to tell you. If there's a game that is a Souls-like that you're going to purchase this year, this game's it, I think, or it's one of them. Really well made. I really appreciate the atmosphere, the tone. You've got this kind of Faustian tale with the main character, and also this spirit who's the Blade Phantom, who possesses you, right? You're basically dead in this starting scene here. And he basically possesses your body and reanimates you, effectively speaking. And you become this kind of bloodlust spirit walking around just wrecking dudes, right? And you are a spirit of vengeance. It's kind of the idea here. So I like the themes and the pacing, the cinematic pacing. All of it is really good in this game so far. There's a good number of cutscenes. There's a good bit of like plot development and progression. This game is, I'm just going to say this game's either average or above average, but it does a really good job at being, let's say, I'm going to say above average. This is not like a super impressive story. It's not going to wow you. It doesn't take you away like Metal Gear Solid 5 or Final Fantasy 15. And we could go into other couple of games, Nier Automata, whatever. A game that's really trying to be imaginative, deliver something that's novel, and trying to get into interesting ideas that you don't see often in storytelling. This game's not really doing that, exactly. Now, it is trying to be a little bit novel with the way that it delivers the characters and all that, but it's like, you know, at first I was not liking it. I was really checking out. I was like, whatever, we've been here how many times? But you know what? The execution is good enough, and I think that they are effectively delivering this game and its themes and its concepts and the narrative and the story. Both angles, I think that they're delivering all aspects of this game narratively, that this is actually engaging. They're taking their time with it. They don't overstay their welcome. They just deliver every narrative component and theme rather effectively within good time. So when I was playing this game, I was really appreciating the pacing. I was like they take their time with all these themes and concepts, like him looking at his bloodied hands, right? And then it looks like I don't know if it was being healed. No. So yeah, he has bloodied hands, right? And arms. So they're delivering all these ideas and concepts and themes as you're playing through the beginning component of the game. And it's just like even him picking up the dual axe and sword, right? it's supposed to be like you're getting settled into the world, you're getting settled into the character. They're doing a good job at delivering the concepts and themes of the game and its character. And then when we see a lot of the cutscenes, and then when we see later, and I mean like the beginning cutscenes, and then we look at later cutscenes, and we're looking at how the story progresses and how they're playing on top of all the themes that they're building across time. There's actual narrative development here that you don't see in other games. And I was saying this when I finished playing this game. It's been a long time since I've seen a writer take their own story seriously. Listen, writers like God of War Ragnarok, they don't take their own story seriously. And then you look at so many other writers today, and they're not taking what they're writing seriously. And that's why we have a lot of problems nowadays with just good storytelling, is that no one takes their story serious. Everyone's being deconstructive. Everyone's being like, everything's Marvel humor. And let's just always, you know, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 doesn't take itself seriously. And there's a huge problem with that, you know. There's so many gay innuendos in that game and all this nonsense just with the writing. Seriously, man, like, yeah, people shilling out for that game. It's only because the only way that you can shill out for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is because you didn't play the game, or you didn't see the game to its finish, okay? If you actually saw the game in its entirety, you'd be like, okay, this is ridiculous, right? It's a bunch of dialogue that never goes anywhere, bunch of characters saying things that don't need to be spoken or said. This game and its story and its characters and its themes and everything that's doing, it's doing all of it. It's not overstaying its welcome. It's delivering everything exactly in the amount of time that you need to hear it or to see it. So characters, they say things with substance within an effective amount of time, and they don't overbloat the dialogue. Really good. Now, like, Liza P is similar in this, that they didn't overstay their welcome, that they were pretty effective with language and communication in their story, and I would say that the story was actually pretty good. The gameplay was super annoying though, bloated, mostly in the fact that there's things I really appreciate about the game, but it's like the bosses were just getting to be a little bit ridiculous to fight. It just got tiresome. Like, I don't know, it's so weird because I really want to appreciate and like Liza P, but it's like, it is a part of the reason why I just have a lot of fatigue with Souls-like games. On its own, is it a good game? Yes, but it's just like, there's a lot of these games now that are really contributing to players like me. I used to be a freaking super fan of Souls-like games. I played them all. You know, The Surge, we can go down a long list. Code Vein, by the way, another game that really built up my fatigue for Souls-like games. I mean, these games, I'm going to be honest, they've got to be careful with the way that they're designing themselves, because you're just going to tire out your players, and you're going to make it where other people just don't want to give this genre a shot anymore. Because these are becoming masochism simulators. It's becoming enough. But, you know, there's this idea, by the way, you constantly see that, like that moon, which I think is sitting within the sun, that's kind of paled out. I think that's what it is. It always looks like an iris. Like, this world is always being followed around by concepts, symbols, and themes that look like an iris in the sky. So there's an idea that you're being watched by kind of the world. Really interesting. They have concepts and ideas here, and I really appreciate how they're doing this. So again, as I said, this feels like a storyteller, a writer on the team that actually takes what they're doing seriously. And so, by the way, the character's masculine, the themes are masculine, the story's masculine. We're following a lot of properly masculine concepts and characters and ideas as we're going through the narrative. The way that they speak is masculine. You have the Phantom Blade, and he's interesting. He's a Faustian sort of character, right? A deal with the devil. He possesses you, and he's trying to take control of your body during the beginning segment of the game. But then, and let me just jump ahead here. So we're gonna jump ahead. You know, shoot. Yeah, we're going to jump ahead. Let me just say this first and foremost before we jump ahead here. I appreciate the level design. Now, the level design is not really anything special or important to mention. Honestly, it's pretty generic. I mean, like, Code Vein was generic. Liza P, I would say, had some really good level design. I have to give it to them. Some really good like Souls, like Dark Souls sort of level design. I actually liked it. So good on Liza P for that. This game, I would say, was actually closer to Code Vein, where it's really just simplistic. It's straightforward. There's nothing to hate here. It's good. It's just, it's not impressive. Liza P was impressive with its level design. So anyway, we, you know, you can level up your stats. It's just the usual, you know, obviously vitality increases more of your health than attack damage. Strength levels up more of attack damage than health. Okay, whatever. So moving on from that. So I will show you though, like I fought this guy. I fought Yatuga. Interesting boss, kind of frustrating to fight, but I like what they're doing here where it's like a part of the boss's movements right there. Him moving, that sidestep, he slams his fist down so you can get damaged as he's kind of trying to maneuver around you. So I noticed this with some of the bosses is that as they're moving around, they try to do things where the developers, where the bosses as they're moving, they can throw out these cheap shots onto you. So you always have to be wary and cognizant of how the boss is moving. And by the way, I like it when games are difficult, you know, and I think it's good that Souls-like games, they're not brain dead and it's just button mashing like games such as the older God of War games, as well as, what's the other game? Ninja Gaiden. I played and finished that recently too. You know, what I appreciate about this game is that it's not trying to be a button masher. And that's what a lot of Souls-like games are. They're trying to have a much more intentional boss design, game design, enemy design. It's more thoughtful in your approach towards the combat, rather than those games where it's like you're building up a needless combo, and then it's just a button masher game. Same thing with Devil May Cry. You know, I played Devil May Cry 5. And it's like, that was a button masher. Yeah, they try to be like, oh, you know, let's make a really good combo. And I do appreciate the combos that you can make in the game. But let's just face it, for most players, it's really tiresome and tedious. No one's really going to do it. And the bosses, it's just not there. Okay, I really like how thoughtful Souls-like games are. Now, what's the problem? Getting to a boss location, I'm just going to say it. It just feels like a grind, actually. Like, I like this feeling of dungeon crawling, but it's like, let's just be honest. This game doesn't feel like a dungeon crawler. And that's what made Dark Souls so great, is that you going through a level feels like you're crawling through a dungeon. You're finding secrets. You're going through hidden passages. This game doesn't have that. And if it you know, it needs to feel like an adventure getting to the boss. And if it doesn't feel like an adventure and just feels like I'm attacking enemies to level up, and that's what these games like Code Vein are. It doesn't, you know, and Liza P kind of felt like a dungeon crawler, kind of not. And that's my issues with the game, is that there's a lot of good elements to the level design, but then other elements, it's like, okay, it's clear I'm just fighting enemies to level up. You want to go through a level like how the Souls-like games from Software, how they did it. Where it's like, I'm going through a level and it's so clear. I am going through this level. I'm scaling it. I'm doing these things. Killing enemies that open up passages. It feels like a dungeon crawler. You feel like you're actually in this interesting world. This game doesn't do that. So that's one of the things that will make you really tired of a Souls-like game, and these Souls-like games is a simple fact. You're going through levels and it just doesn't feel like an experience. It just feels like a grind. Now, the bosses, again, they're fine. I think a lot of these Souls-like games, I think they're getting better with Souls-like, or yeah, I mean, but no, just scratch that. They're getting better with boss design. Games like Ninja Gaiden sucked with boss design. Games like the older God of War games sucked with boss design. There's a bunch of games that were just bad with boss design. With these Souls-like games, they are honestly masters in the craft of boss fights. Proper boss fighting is found in Souls-like games. That's why people enjoy these games. And sometimes these bosses are made way too unfair, where it's no longer fun, it's just masochism, right? That was my issue with the nameless puppet in Liza P, and I get it, it's the last boss, but it doesn't matter. That still makes you tired of fighting bosses, and there's other bosses where you're just like, you know what, this isn't so much fun, now it's just a grind. And you don't want to feel that way. Now, this boss was not really a grind. He was a little bit frustrating to learn at first, but it's like, let's just be honest, you can learn how to fight this guy, and I did. And I defeated him, and it's like, I didn't really like fighting Yatuga, I'm gonna be honest. He just felt a little bit tiresome because he was a bullet sponge more than anything else, and he constantly attacked. And it was only when he stopped attacking that you finally had your open opportunity to attack him back. Now, yes, by the way, there's an interesting thing. So you can do parries, which I do most of, and I don't really understand this system in the game, but there's also, you can block and then press B, and you can do a counter attack. So it's like, it's the same thing as a parry, but you just attack right after. It doesn't really feel reliable. There's a lot of attacks where it doesn't, you know, it's supposed to be that you're breaking the attack chain of a boss and you're getting your attack in, but there's many times I do the counter attack and it's not breaking the boss's attack chain. So then I just keep on getting hit after doing a counter attack. So I don't know how that's supposed to work. It seems like it's supposed to be maybe for specific attacks by a boss, but I don't know how you're supposed to determine that. So it's really unreliable, and so I don't really like it personally. I'm not really a fan of the counterattack system. But regardless, like, if you can figure it out, I like that it's a tool and it's a feature in your kit. And I like the abilities. I like how you can, as you attack enemies, as you fight bosses, you level up a skill tree outside of getting souls. So that's cool. Like, so there's this like passive upgrade system for just leveling up your combos, leveling up abilities that you can get. And there's certain abilities that I get later on that helps me fight the Phantom Blade. And so let's just finish off with this. Yatuga, he was an okay boss, but he was kind of annoying to fight, just gonna be honest. But he was fine, you know, it's just that he wasn't the best of bosses to fight, and I just really didn't appreciate him. But again, I will say this, that I do appreciate Souls-like games in the way that they design themselves. Here, let me show right before I defeat this guy, right? This is the run that I was wrecking the guy. So, gonna go back a little bit. So you can see me wreck this guy, and then as we speak, I'm gonna later show you Phantom Blade, because I actually really enjoyed that boss fight. It was a really good boss fight. It was fun, it was engaging, it was the proper amount of difficulty. It felt like an epic boss fight. There was so much about it. It was good. It was good. So there's a lot of things that they're doing with this game that I like. I appreciate the writing. I appreciate the tonality of the world and the writing within this world. How characters take themselves seriously. They speak within a proper kind of heroic essence to themselves. They don't speak like Redditors. They don't speak like modern day freaking queers. No, they speak like proper men. These characters. And that's why I say this is a masculine game, masculine characters, and this is proper masculinity put into a game. Something that we used to get. And it's just, this is writing that we haven't seen in a long time, and I desperately miss it. Oh yeah, man, this was tight. I was low health. He was low health. I was getting a lot of good blocks in. There's many times I was failing. Yep, that was a grab that I typically do not dodge. Man, dude, I was shaking here. Man, this is tight, bro. Oh my gosh, just like my wife's vajayjay. So, yeah, wow. I mean, dude, you have no idea. I was so tense here. And this is why, with Souls games, when you make proper bosses like this is what makes them so good, is that you have good bosses. You know, you're on the edge of your seat, you're freaking fighting them. It's difficult to get through. Now, again, I don't like the fact that it's like, wait for your turn to actually attack the boss. That's kind of annoying, but outside of that, there you go. You know, I defeated him, and it was tough, and it was really close. And I was clenching my butthole the entire time. So, and then I guess you can see this cutscene here. Yeah. So you get gear in this game too. And for the most part, it seems like gear in this game is I guess it's unique loot, but you get the same gear multiple times over, just like a Souls-like game, like Dark Souls. So you get the same gear over. No. Actually, this is a disposable loot system. Yeah, no, and I don't like that. Yeah, no, I absolutely hate that. Because you get the same pieces of gear over and over again, and each and every single one are min-max versions of the last one. So like, you get the same pieces of gear, but like, oh, instead of 246 defense, you're getting 248 defense. Or instead of 248 defense, you're getting 248 defense plus a set bonus, right? You get a certain amount of a gear piece set, and then you get bonuses, extra damage, whatever. And I hate that freaking crap. Now, by the way, we don't get unnecessary diversity in this game. Everyone's white. I love that. Everyone's white in this game. We're in a seemingly Nordic location and background, so I really like that. We have this random old chick that's an elder. Okay, whatever. I mean, I guess there's nothing to get pissed off about. I mean, it could have been a hot chick, let's just face it, but whatever. I guess they're going for a theme idea of an elder chick. Whatever. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I dislike it. I don't know what I think yet, but right here, you know what? Let me play for you the voice of the Blade Phantom. He has a great voice, great delivery. The voice actor is so good for the Blade Phantom. Does a great job. He sells you into the role immediately. This guy is great. It feels like that the character is possessed by this demon that is like this ethereal character that has all this power, and he comes from an elder time. The voice actor is just a great selection. I don't know who he is. He does a great job. So listen up right here. Really good. This is my playthrough, by the way. Just have to tell you.
Your body. We must have
it. And I will play a little bit more of his voice lines. I think he says something else here. But like, something to say about this is that he actually does evil laughing really well. And it makes sense that he's like this weird kind of like spirit of vengeance. And by the way, in the intro cutscene of this game, there's this guy that is crying over the dead body of a woman from a kingdom. It's clear that the Blade Phantom is a dude that I guess he got betrayed by someone maybe within his kingdom, whatever the kingdom happens to be. Because I think you fight in the throne room where he initially, I guess, became possessed by this spirit of vengeance. You fight him to ultimately tame the Blade Phantom spirit and make it so that he doesn't possess you, but instead both of you now are working in unison together. You make a kind of pact, because your boss fight in the beginning of the game, and I really like the fact that you actually fight the Blade Phantom at the beginning of the game, because I thought this was going to be a really generic story. No, I like the fact that you start the story fighting the Faustian kind of character. You fight him because he's trying to possess you. You fight him to ultimately tame him. And yes, other stories have probably done it. Obviously they have. But it's like, you don't see this that often. So you fight the Phantom Blade, or the Blade Phantom Master, whatever his name. You fight him to temper and tame his spirit, and then he respects you for that. And I think you had the choice actually to kill him. And instead the character makes the decision, your character, the main character, he makes the decision to enter a pact with him instead and utilize his power to defeat the forces of whoever that imprisoned you, that you ultimately died in that snow, that snow cascade or whatever. I forget what you call it. Right, the avalanche, the snow avalanche at the beginning of the game. You make this pact to go to war against that kingdom that obviously I believe that the Blade Phantom has a vendetta against, and so do you, right? So you're kind of kindred souls in your quest for vengeance. And I like the delivery of the story. I like the delivery of the fact that you defeat the Blade Phantom, and instead of killing him, you both kind of learn to respect each other based on the fact that you actually were able to defeat him. And it was a good boss fight as well. So anyways, listen to this. Okay, well, actually, you know what? Let me play a different cutscene where you actually hear more from him. Like at the beginning of the game, right here.
It is fully healed. The power of death cannot claim you now.
And the thing about him is apparently, I guess, he's an entity of multiple spirits. So I guess there's been multiple Blade Phantoms, right? Maybe it's all the men that he previously possessed, and he tried to use their bodies to fight, and then they ultimately died and failed. And I guess the idea in this story is that you're the one guy that could actually defeat the Blade Phantom, and you're basically the chosen one. Like, the fact that you could actually defeat the Blade Phantom means that you are the chosen one, that you are going to actually be able to also utilize his spirit to actually defeat this empire that the Blade Phantom has a vendetta towards, and that you also have a vendetta towards.
Of the netherworld. That is what flows through you.
And there's this whole idea of the netherworld, which, you know, it's something that we've kind of seen a lot, you could really say, but really good execution and delivery of the concepts and themes here. So I don't care. Like, they're doing a good job with all this. Again, this is a above average game. And it's not like a great game. There's games that just do great and they sell a really compelling story that you don't see a lot of. But and they're very novel in all the right ways. But even though this game's not great in that aspect, it's a really good game. And it does a great job at being good. Again, great voice actor. Like, he literally delivers his lines just terrifically well. Really good pacing. And the voice actor, he's really familiar for the main character, but he's also a good... Oh shoot, what is it? Oh, frick. Oh wait. I don't know. It almost sounds like there's this one voice actor, like, he kind of sounds a little bit like Chris Hemsworth, maybe. Good voice actor. Just good voice actor. I like the voice of the story build-up. Where are we? It's giving to us some kind of... Oh yeah, so during the beginning section of the game, by the way, you're also collecting a bunch of different weapon types before you actually fight the Blade Master. So let's just jump to it. So right here, I'll show you a little bit of the Blade Master speaking to you. Just a little bit more, showing off his voice acting. It's just really great job, man.
There is no way out.
And I love that you're playing as just a masculine male character in this game. This guy's not some twink.
We declare.
The dialogue is straight to the point. I really like that. By the way, it's straight to the point. They don't over explain anything, right? He just speaks that way. And you have to come up with, what does he mean by we declare, concur? What does that mean? Like, it's not, because the issue with modern day writing is that what we do is we write characters and we write scenes to just explain away everything. And if you see, again, just go look at a lot of the videos on my channel, all my game reviews, you will know quite well what I'm speaking about. Like, for instance, Dragon Age, the Veilguard is a great example of this. There's a bunch of other games where these are liberal writers. They know that you're too stupid if you're liberal. They're stupid, and they know that you're stupid, and they know that you're too stupid to follow the story properly, so then they over-explain everything. What we get here is a writer that is obviously not a freaking libtard. I don't know where they line up, but they're not a complete libtard, so that's good. And there's some other things to mention here. I will mention this as well. Something I really appreciate about this game. We actually do have hot, sexy women. And there's some bosses later in the game. They have enormous breasts. These are sexy, hot women, and I love it. There's actual hot, sexy women in this game. So I don't know how many, but it looks like 2 bosses are busty and hot. So this game has just cool dudes and has hot chicks. This is a game that is giving to us what gaming used to be, and I really appreciate that. And again, the writing is really effective. This is the throne room where in the intro scene, the Blade Phantom is grieving over the dead body of, I guess, his queen or his princess, whichever one. And he's possessed by this kind of malevolent spirit of vengeance after that. See, I really like just the execution, like the cape unfurling from the back. It's just really cool, all of this. And I really like this boss fight. Obviously, it was kind of an easier boss fight than what it could have been, and maybe it'll get more difficult. Maybe they'll do the same boss fight later in the game, and it'll be a little bit faster attacks, but, you know, I mean, it's overall a pretty difficult boss fight. You know, it's medium difficulty. It was a good one. It was a good one. So, anyway, yeah, I like the move set that this guy has. Now, obviously, after every attack chain, he gives you an opportunity to hit him and stagger him. So it's largely easy, but as you're wrecking this guy, and yeah, I mean, you'll see. I'm not going to jump ahead yet, but I will show you the second phase. But anyways, like, I just, the attacks are cool. I like the pacing of the boss fight. And there's a lot of move set diversity as well that he has. So it's just really cool. And he's using different weapons as well. Just really well done. And this is another game that does the whole thing with breaking stamina on enemies. I don't think Dark Souls does that. I don't think Elden Ring does that, if I remember correctly. Or no, it doesn't. No, Elden Ring did it, but it's invisible. I don't think you actually see the stamina bar, right? I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway. You know, and by the way, I mean, I do remember. Oh, yeah. And I do like the different attacks that you have available in the skill tree. Some of them are really interesting and nice to use. And they give you different tools in your arsenal. So that right there, again, that's the weird kind of iris in the sky. I don't really... It's really strange. I don't know what they're going for with all that. But yeah, right there, you're kind of I don't know what repossesses you, that you're like, oh, I'm going to kick his butt. But, you know, here you are. This is the second phase. He goes a little bit more hardcore. Nothing too crazy. It could be a lot more difficult. But, you know, I mean, the attacks are cool. So anyways, I just really appreciate a lot of the elements to this game. They do such a great job. And, I don't know if I'll jump ahead to anything, but by the way, the music in this game is cool. I love the art direction to this game. There's just so much that they're doing well with this game, and this game's being made obviously with love. It's being made with passion, and it's being made competently. And at first I was not liking this game, not loving it, but then the deeper I was going in, and after this boss fight, I was won over. The themes of the game, concepts of the characters, and the game, and its story, and its world, all of it was winning me over. And when I got to the end of it, I was like, you know what? I'm actually interested in this game when it comes out. I'm actually interested to pick it up and play it. I'm actually interested to see where this goes. I'm actually interested to see, you know, just specifically where the story goes with the Phantom Blade and your character, Khazan. I'm interested in seeing where the two of them go, and like, does the story get more interesting? Are the stakes, are the threats of the, you know, the bosses and the villains, does it get better from here? My guess is it does. I mean, Blade Phantom is a good kind of like what do you call him? He's kind of like an anti-hero character, maybe. I mean, he's a Faustian, but also Faustian kind of character, but he's also anti-hero a little bit. So I really like what's going on here. And I don't know who the actual villain is going to be past the Blade Phantom, but I'm really interested to see where the story goes. Because, oh, and this is, by the way, this is the skill tree here. I don't know what the active skills are about, but anyways, yeah. So you've got a lot of things you can upgrade and experiment with per weapon. So that's cool. Anyways, I'll show you this. And I will show you the fine after you defeat him. This is the cutscene that really won me over to the game. So this is me. I was using a certain attack from the skill tree that just made fighting the boss super easy. Let me show you this. It was this flurry attack, really good. Yeah, right there. You have to hold down on it. No, you have to tap it to continuously use it, I believe. And I was a little bit confused about how you use the flurry attack. So I would try to hold down on it and it would immediately finish, because what it does, you flurry attack and it does amazing damage on stamina and health. And then on top of that, you do a final attack at the end of the flurry attack. So really good. Again, I enjoyed this boss fight. What was the music during this, by the way? Yeah, good soundtrack as well. And I also really like the sound effects as you're getting your attacks in. It feels like you're hitting hard. It just feels good. Yeah, good sounds by the Blade Phantom as well. Just great voice acting, man. Yeah, the way he's snarling. Love it. So, right, yeah, so that was a charge attack that I just did right there. And it feels pretty good to use. It does multiple attacks within one strike. There you go. And that's the flurry attack. It's so, dude, I was having such a difficult time on this boss, and then I got that freaking flurry attack. Dang. It wrecked this guy. It made the boss fight so easy. Way better. So this is the cutscene right here that won me over. It's so cool, man.
I will have no masters.
Oh, that's the voice actor. The voice actor is Clive from Final Fantasy 16. Man, I'm gonna be honest. My ability to spot out voice actors, it's just anytime I can hear a voice, I'm like, I know exactly who that is. And it takes me a little while, and then I find it. Like, I don't know. I don't give a crap if other people can do it. Like, I am super impressed with my ability to always spot out voice actors. I don't know how I do it. I always do it, though. It's always all these random games. I'm like, oh, I know who that person is. And then I'm like, love of God, it's that freaking random dude from, like, that game I saw 7 years ago. Anyways.
You need my body, but I need your strength.
It's a good voice actor. I hate Final Fantasy 16.
I swear on my honor.
But good voice acting. He bleeds into the pool, so obviously the pool, the pool of blood, I guess it's the blood of all the Blade Phantom's previous possessions, adversaries, the men that resisted and he killed, right? Something like. So it's interesting. So you make that interesting kind of a pact. And see, that's something that's delivered to you without the game telling you. And I love this ability. The writers take what they're doing seriously, and they don't treat you like you're a freaking retard. Now, yes, if you're liberal, you are a retard. So, yes, when liberal writers, they make a story, they're making it for retards because they know that they're retards and they know that you're retards, right? By the way, people can only comprehend the intelligence at their level or beneath themselves. People cannot comprehend people above their intelligence. So it makes sense that liberals write for absolute retards because they are absolute retards. But this writer is clearly not a complete liberal. I don't know what they are. My guess is not a complete libtard. My hope is that they say the N-word every once in a while. Anyways, but they write for people that are not stupid, because right there, it's not explained. Why did he bleed into the pool? But you can come up with why that's important. So I like that.
We can work together. Cooperate.
It's delivering multiple ideas within one scene without wasting a bunch of time and dialogue. Because there's a thing such as dialogue fatigue in games. For instance, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does this, where the whole game you're going through is just dialogue fatigue. You're just going through and the characters just keep on talking and talking and talking, and you're just tired of it. You're like, dude, geez Louise, man. Like, you people are just saying a bunch of things that don't need to be spoken or said. This game does a great job where it says everything sufficiently. We're not having story hour with drag queen. We're not having drama hour with your freaking feminist wife. No, we're sitting and we're having men actually speak to each other bluntly and effectively. Really great story pacing and dialogue pacing. There's no dialogue fatigue in this game so far, and I love it.
You help me, I help you. Very well. If this is what is required, we
It feels a little bit exaggerated there, but it's also cool. Like, I know the idea they're going for. It feels a little bit played up, but then at the same time, it works. It's kind of funny, though. Oh, that's interesting. Wait. Enough. Oh, wow. So he's kind of like a collectivist hive mind entity of vengeance. And even though he's like one strain of thought, right? He is the essence, the personification of vengeance. He says enough. And I remember hearing that and I was like, why did he say enough? And I just kind of overlooked it. But that's interesting. So he says enough because oh man. So he's also an entity of discord, right? And there's all these other personas that he's possessed that's a part of himself, and he's at discontent with those other voices within his own mind. Oh, wow. And that's so interesting. So he's like the master of all the other phantoms that I guess he's possessed, right? So he has all these other men's voices that are very similar to his own because they're all the same entity speaking within himself. And then though he's the master entity, and so whenever he dictates a discernment, they all resound that discernment. But he's, of course, internally, he's fed up with the noise of all the other entities, even though they're basically clones of himself, effectively speaking. That is really cool. I love that. That is a narrative concept, theme, idea that it's not being explained to you, but you see it happen. And then you can come down to, you can reason down and conclude rhetorically what is happening within the scene. So that's so interesting, so cool that he silences the voices within himself. That is, man, that is so cool. I love that. I love that.
We have but one goal: to restore order to the netherworld. Then help me.
And I love the camera angles, how it's shifting all over the place. Very cinematic, very well done. It really immerses you and it keeps you engaged in the scene. It's not that you need all this, but it keeps you engaged because it's delivering ideas through the camera panning in different directions, right? Focus here, focus there, right? Focus on the hand clutching gesture here of Khazan, telling a certain idea, and then he's in the background, right? The Phantom Blade. So it's telling a certain idea through the scene of the camera angle. Really well done here. Super good.
I'll help you do this.
It's just so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Our alliance is formed. How long it lasts is up to you.
Great voice acting, man. Seriously. I don't know who this voice actor is, but he seriously does a great job. So, anyways, we get shown, so yeah, you talk to this, old chick. So anyways, yeah, anyways. So, I'll show you. So then they give you a preview of what the rest of the game is at the end of the demo. And this is where, and right here, I'm talking about how, you know, at first, I mean, I could just unmute myself. Yelling for you. So this is something that for me, I am a little bit more invested than I was at the beginning of this sit down. So yeah, so this really impressed me, and now I'm actually interested and genuinely excited for the game because they're doing a good job with this, and it won me over. That cutscene right there, and just the progression of the game up until that point, it won me over. So right here, I'll show you. So this is the preview of the rest of the game, the world and the story, and the fact that everything else out today sucks. The architecture's cool, by the way. I am compelled. Oh, and that's a Blade Phantom. So he actually manifests himself outside of his Phantom. So you actually, I guess, revive his body later in the story. So that's cool. This. Interesting. I wonder if that's his spirit right there. And if you defeat this, you free his body, maybe. I don't know. So, okay, you're gonna see the hot chicks here in a second. Yeah, random spider. It's right here. Look, this chick's freaking busty and she's attractive. Oh, frick. Cool boss right there. So there's a sexy succubus chick. That's nice. You get really cool abilities, like just looking at it all. I like it. I like it. Right there. This is another hot chick. There's another. She's also busty. Wait, so there's multiple hot chicks. Really? Oh. Yeah, man, it won me over. It won me over. So the game's coming out March 27th. So that's coming out relatively soon, and I look forward to it. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. So, man, I mean, this is the impressions video. I was really won over by what I saw, and I was super impressed. Definitely, guys, I mean, man, like, it's been a while since the story actually feels compelling to me. And there's other games like Lies of P that were kind of compelling, but like, I don't know, like, it's not often that I feel myself being actually invested. So, this game overall, there's elements of it that feels a little bit rewashed of other games, but then there's other elements that feels like, you know, they're redeeming themselves by delivering and executing on certain factors and key themes that is actually compelling me to this product. I was initially really thinking of skipping out on this game. Now, I don't know if I have the time to play it. If I can get the time to play it, then I will do it. We'll see by that point in time, because I'm busy with a bunch of stuff. But this is a game that I do want to play. And there's not many games that nowadays I'm willing to finish. So I'm willing to give this a shot. So anyways, man, that's the end of it here. At the end of this video, you can check out in the playlist, you can check out my other game impressions that I've covered on the channel. And by the way, do not forget to pick up my books. If you want proper storytelling, you actually want to pick up a narrative that is worth engaging with and getting invested into, then do not miss out on my stuff. This is the crap that's actually worth picking up. I would not write it if it was not good. And this is the reason why I do the channel, is so that you guys actually get good storytelling and that you pick up my stuff. So anyways, man, I'm hard at work to make some more books for you. And that being said, I guess I'll see you possibly when the full game releases.